Hey, what's going on, people? You're tuned in to the Unity Sessions, and we're here today with JudahEl. We're going to be getting into it with a spoken word journey. I mean, you might have heard of her already if you've been paying attention to Big Church Festival or Transcendence or TBN. You might have seen her pop up already. JudahEl, how you doing over there?
I'm good. I'm keeping well. Busy season, but good. Very good.
Yeah, the good kind of busy, right?
The good, you know what? I'm grateful. It is the good kind. I can't even complain. It's the good kind of busy.
Okay, nice. And it's great to have you with us. And also, we
Thank
haven't
you
had
for
a
having
chance
me.
to properly ever talk somehow. So it's going to be fun for me too, just to get to know you a little bit below the surface and that kind of thing.
Go for it.
Okay, so how do you feel? You got Slay out into
Yeah.
the world. How does it feel to have your baby out in the world now?
Do you know what? I love the fact that you use the word baby because it's literally taken months. It's been in the womb for months.
Mm-hmm.
Almost nine. Funny enough, almost 9 to 10 months in the making. It's been a journey, but I'm so grateful because one of the things that I felt through the journey, loads of people just kept affirming me like timing, timing. God has a timing with this. So even though I can be very project management, like it's got to be X, Y, Z, and at this time, it's just like no, it's gonna be in God's time. So yeah, it feels a blessing only because just because people can relate to it with their own situations, their own life as well. So I'm just like, you know what, it was definitely worth the wait. So yeah, very grateful for it to be out.
Yeah, and I feel like this is going to be like a blessing, but also a challenge, right? I feel like you're so unique
Mm-hmm.
as an artist that for you to package what you're packaging, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be hard to kind of like what exactly is it at any given point. So,
Mm.
would you call it a single or spoken word piece? Let's start there.
Oh, oh, can we do both?
Yeah,
No,
it can be both. It can be both. Yeah.
we can do both. We can do both.
So
We can
unpack
do
that
both.
a little bit then. So what makes you package it as with that duality as both?
Mm-hmm. Do you know what? Initially, it's just because you can find it on both levels. Because for me, I feel like spoken word, you can, even though comes with a visual, you can listen to it as a piece and have it just very much encouraging. Even like if you're doing a workout or if you're just walking, like you can listen to it and it's definitely encouraging. Um, and yeah, like I've done the visual aspect of it, which is available on YouTube, but then you also have it on the streaming platforms, like on Spotify and Apple and all of them. So I'm just like, oh, it can classify as both.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's why I personally would.
See, that's cool. And then you took it a step beyond. So you said it's not just a single, it's an anthem. Yeah?
Mm.
So what takes us to it being an anthem?
Do you know what? Because I feel like people have been in a season. It's been a season of when I speak to people and when I have been speaking to people for over a year. And even sometimes I'm still checking up on people, certain people now. And I will even reference one last message that someone came to me with regards. I was just like, how are you? They're like, I just feel like I've been in this ring fighting. It's just like life has just been throwing things at me and I just feel like I've been consistently fighting. So it's just like, yes, you listen to a piece. It's not just a one day thing. Sometimes there's certain battles people go through and it's in seasons and people's seasons, maybe a few weeks, others maybe months, other people maybe years. So an anthem is something that is continuous. It's not just a one day, one take, one play thing. It's something that you need to consistently listen to allow your mind to be renewed by it and for that thing to really sink in. So it becomes something that's repetitive in your mind. So that's why I'm like, okay, yeah, when someone actually said that, I didn't even come up with that. Someone's like, yeah, that's an anthem. I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I hear that. I actually hear that.
Okay, nice, sweet. Yeah, and I definitely agree. I think especially with the visuals,
Mm,
it does feel like more than just this is why I find it so hard. And like you said, I don't think it has to be classified in one box or
mm,
another. But I guess in terms of digesting, content and artistry, we do like to package it in our heads.
mm,
Because I'd say the visual almost gave it like a movie kind of element, because it was so
yeah,
cinematic.
yeah.
Yeah. What was the overall like vibe you were kind of going for with the visuals?
That was actually it. And you know what? That's why I smile when I actually hear people what their take on it. I was like, yeah, we hit it, we hit it, we hit it. Because I always kind of wanted it to be like a movie trailer, like a
Okay.
movie trailer, like which is very like a trailer which is quite impactful.
Yeah.
It's very short, like, but you almost catch the story through the whole thing, even though it's like a 2 minute snippet or whatever second, like a
Hmm.
minute snippet. But I did want it to kind of have that movie kind of feel to it. Just because it's very dynamic, it's very warfare. I don't want you sitting in it too long, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make the impact.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was going
I
for.
definitely felt the warfare theme too. You came out all black, just like out here, dead of night. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely had that vibe.
Oh boy, I was cold. You know, I'm like, yo, the sacrifice I made that to film that thing. We filmed it. I kid you not, last year September.
Oh,
No,
really?
September, October. It was cold. I was cold, but the adrenaline kept me warm. But yeah, we
Oh
blessed the Lord.
gosh. Yeah. And then the title, Slay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And you even have the phrase slay in your lane. So
Mm-hmm.
give us your
Like,
definition.
okay. So it's almost a play on words, even though it has a very direct thing to it. This piece very much is anchored on the scripture, Psalms 144, I believe. I hope I quote that right. But where it says that the Lord has trained your hands for war and your fingers for battle, right? And so with that, if your hands are trained for war, your fingers for battle, if you're in a battle in itself, you want to come out triumphant, you want to come out victorious, you want to come out as the one who is actually, I want to say, you slay the giant, you slay your enemy. That's
Mm.
literally exactly what you won't do. So it was really that in terms of overcoming. It's really slaying, speaking about the aspect of overcoming, slaying the enemy, like slaying whatever giants are in front of you, slaying whatever is in front of you, not being the one who's defeated, but you actually got to strain your hands for war, your fingers for battle, even though you're going through what you're going through, whether it's God caused it or God is allowing it, whatever form, he's not going to leave you. Like there's a stance that he's created for you to do. And whether it's God fighting for you or fighting through you, like your posture should be, I'm already victorious. And in that victorious element, it means that there is an end goal. You need to slay the giant. Do you get what I mean? Like if you look at David, even when he said that he was talking to Goliath, like the Lord will win this battle for us. He didn't just sit back. He still went and slung that slot. He had to sling the shot, and slayed his giant. And so it's the same thing with us as believers. We know the Lord is fighting for us. We know the Lord is fighting through us. But what's the posture the Lord is telling us to take? Do you know what I mean? And what's the victory stand? And so it's very much directly that. But then why I say it's also playing on words is just because someone else picked it up. Right now, I guess sometimes the urban terminology of slay. Oh my gosh, you slayed. Oh girl, you slayed. Oh
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
you
yeah.
slayed. It's kind of that. Even though I wasn't trying to go on that front, but
Okay.
I after when someone said it, I was like, yeah, actually, I see that, and it also comes from a place of like, when you're facing battles and when you're going through life battles, let's be real, let's talk about it. Sometimes it gets to a place whereby you just feel like it's one after the other after the other.
Hmm.
It's like, is there any point of just standing up? And that's where you get people just going like, you're like, how are you? And people like, I'm alive. How are you? I'm surviving. But God hasn't created you just to um exist. He's called you, he's created you to live and to thrive. He says the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I've come that you can have life and have it in abundance, right? So you're not just meant to live, you're meant to thrive. You're not just meant to survive. Actually, let me put it that way. You're not just meant to survive. You're meant to live and thrive.
Hmm.
And so that aspect of, oh, you slayed is kind of like, I'm not going to shrink back, even though that's what the enemy wants me to do. I'm not going to quivel in. I'm not going to shrink. I'm
Yeah.
actually going to let me actually no, I'm a slay. I'm gonna pick myself up. I'm gonna come up as I'm meant to. So yeah,
That's,
that's the
I
play.
like that. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah. And there's a lot in there. You said overcoming, you said the slaying, you said the dragon, you said the enemy. What was Slay born out of for you?
Mm,
What caused us to get here?
you want to go into it?
We
You
gotta
really
go
want to go?
into
I'm
it. We
kidding.
gotta go into it.
I'm kidding. Okay, good. Do you know? So interesting. I wrote this piece not too long after we came out of COVID. So if you
Okay.
really listen to the words, there's a lot of references to a lot of the things that people went through, including myself, bruv. That isolation was real. I'm an extrovert, y'all. So locking me up wasn't funny.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but Yeah, there's a lot that people went through, and I think even post COVID as well, even some things, even personally, it's just like, dang God, almost, even though, like, even when it seems like time has been snatched out of your hands, isolation as though you're in your own nation, like words like that. But it wasn't just me going through these things, but I'm just like, these are things people, like, if can we just say the nations? No,
Yeah,
just
for
nations.
sure.
Nations have gone through. These are what people are now having to deal with post COVID, you know, and people having to pick up the pieces again, people having to deal with lost loved ones in, like, you're not expecting it. It just happen like that, you know? And you're having to deal with all these things. The plans that you have seem like it was put on pause for the longest, not just for a week. Not, do you get me? You don't know when it's going to get back to the normal. And people are trying to define what's the normal. Is there going to be a normal? Is it a new normal? What is it? You know, and just really just picking up on everything that everyone had been going through, the realities. And then as well as myself, I just found myself, it was so weird because after I wrote the piece, I felt like I was going for the lyrics. I said,
Mm.
Jesus, next time I'm gonna write lyrics like the world is just so beautiful, we're going through flowers, you know, if you're gonna make me live out the lyrics, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I joke to God on that, but yeah, it's very much like, yes, some personal stuff, but also I knew that the world around me, people around me, it's not just family, it's not just my neighbors, it's not just your community, it's nations going through the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because it's definitely, I say there's that connectivity, but I like that you left it feels like you left it ambiguous deliberately. I'm over here sounding like I'm in the GCSE anthology now, innit? But like, because I was trying to kind of pin it down in my head, like, what is the one topic? But it's kind of like there's little dotted clues, but you don't say
Mm-hmm.
this is about this
Mm-hmm.
type thing. So that's interesting to kind of learn. What's your what's your process with it essentially?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'd say a lot of the things you talked about are quite general, right? So overcoming, resilience, or the enemy. So like, how do you go about deciding, okay, yeah, this is going to be a poem. This is just a thought, or this
Mm-hmm.
is me reading the Bible versus, yeah, I'm going to create a poem or spoken word piece based on this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you go about deciding and figuring all that out?
It's such a great question. I'm like, how do I answer this?
Thanks. I want to know for real though.
Oh,
Go on.
oh my gosh. Do you know what? I feel like with all my pieces, I've never just sat down and be like, oh, okay, let me just write a piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's always birthed from a thought or a almost like a journey of something that you've been through. So even, for example, I'll give you a good example. We connected on ABBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And ABBA was a 3-year journey for me, and I was not planning to release it. For me, it was a way of allowing my what I was going through. I was just writing down. That was a way of expressing myself through grief at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? And for me, it was almost like a letter to my dad and a letter to God kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did not plan to release it until the Lord was like, you should. And I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. You know, so that happened that way. And sometimes I think it can be like that with a lot of pieces. I found myself on like trains or just doing something, and there's just a thought that's running through, or I'm reflecting on aspects of life or something along those lines. And as I'm doing that, I'm not thinking I want to write a piece. As I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking, it's literally quite poetic in my head. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, oh, that's a good line. Like, because it catches me by surprise, it
Mm-hmm.
catches me by surprise that the way I've thought about it is so poetic. I end up writing it. It may just start with 2 lines, and then I just flow. It's like a river. It just flows.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you know it, there's a whole piece just there. And it's not just because I want to release it. Most of the times it doesn't happen like that. It's just me outpouring my thoughts or outpouring the way I've just digested something that's happened, or digested a season in life, or digested an event in life, or digested what's just happening. Um,
Yeah.
and then yeah, it bursts forth a piece, you know?
Yeah. Go
There
on.
are ads. There are ads. Sorry, I don't want to talk too much, you know. But you know what? Slay is quite interesting because it's 2 pieces in one.
Okay.
Slay started off as the second half of the piece. So if you listen to the piece, there's a part where I change, as you said, into the black outfit. Like
Yeah.
there's a pause, and then it goes. Yeah, that was actually the piece that was Slay. And then I remember the day I was going to the studio, the piece was like a minute long. And I
Okay.
remember as I was there and I had some time to myself before getting to the studio. And I remember just looking at his piece. I said, am I really gonna record a piece that's just 1 minute long? And that's how I sat there. And I kid you not, the first half of Slay came forth me sitting in my car. But again, it was just reflecting on everything that everyone had been through. And it just came out pouring. And I was like, yeah, because for me, I was like, I want to encourage people right now, even though there's this first half that's been done, there needs to be such an encouragement that speaks directly to what people have gone through and what we've been going through. And that's how Slay came together.
Nice. So I
Yeah.
think that leads me to wonder two things. One, because it seems like it's funny with creatives terminology, right? But I heard Pharrell Williams say the other day about downloading. We download like our thoughts from somewhere. So it sounds like in your situation, it's like unplanned pauses a lot. So the train, the car. Do you ever set aside time as just nothing else, just you with your thoughts time?
Oh, with my thoughts time, or me trying to create time? Which one? The first one or the second one?
I think it can be both. It can be both.
Okay.
But so dedicate because again, it sounds like often you don't necessarily from the examples that you said, they're not
Yeah.
necessarily strategic. I'm going to write now. Time. It sounds like you're being
Sure.
hit with something, or there's some spark that's kind of happening there. So it
Yeah.
would seem like your process generally is kind of quite organic, but you can speak on it, you know.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. It's not planned. Most of the times it's actually generally not planned. But I think I'm saying like that because sometimes I kind of feel like I'll desire it to be, have more still moments just in the
Yeah.
car, just walking, but
Yeah.
y'all gonna take me out of this country to another like just like scenery in my head. I'm just like beside waters and palm trees, but that doesn't happen. But that being said, though, a lot of things also in my secret place. I think for me, from early in my secret place, in terms of my devotion time with God, those are the moments I just sit still and things can come through and ideas can come through. But it's not really pieces. I think for me, sometimes it's just where God wants me to go, what He wants me to do, and I get a lot of download from there. 100% in terms of just direction and stuff, but in terms of like creative pieces and things like that, yeah, it just tends to be random moments of stillness that are not planned. I love how you're making me self-reflect. I really like this.
Yeah. So then I guess
Self-awareness.
where it naturally leads to is that something that you think you can do more, as in set aside time, or do you prefer the impromptu download?
Mm. I like the impromptu download because it's almost like organic, authentic, nothing forced. It's life. I'm not trying to create, and I feel like that's almost more authentic, more, yeah, this is heartfelt, I'm not just trying to create. So I do like that. Would I want to be more structured? Who's structured as a creative? I'm kidding. I kind of like how I'm flowing right now.
Fair, fair. It's funny because what did I see? Something popped up. I can't even remember where it came from, what I was watching now, but it was like it was an encouragement, I think, to not just it's funny because we tend to think of like creatives and academia in like a totally different space, right? But essentially like both are the same in terms of your brain working through something, you know? Like the process is quite similar. So like they were talking about Einstein, where he used to just get on a little boat, no engine, just row it out into the lake and then just let go and just sit.
I would love that. I kid you not, I would absolutely love that. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
would
then
love
this
that.
is the thing with
Not that.
like I found that like myself in terms of it's like that's why people talk about the shower or even with him he had that bathtub moment, right? Where he runs out. It's like those weird,
Mm,
well, but I almost feel like
yeah.
we multiply the fruitfulness if we actually just like paused for a minute just to let
I
things
hear you.
like
Yep.
download. Because yeah, I think I'd
I
find
hear
that
you.
I'd find that interesting with you in terms of not that I'm trying to like break you and push you to the edge for volume, but I think yeah, that's kind of almost like the next step I'd say, right? In terms of just
Mm,
having a consistent body of content consistently flowing that you're happy with.
yeah. I
Yeah.
hear that. Do you know what's so funny? I've got so much. It's actually
Yeah.
crazy. It's just, yeah, so much that is there. Like sometimes I go back on like on my pads or just stuff. It's there. Like It's just, now, just as you said, it's consistency in releasing it. Like, I cannot write anything for Goodyear, and there is stuff. Like, I have been going through stuff, and I'm just like, when did you write that? Oh my gosh! Like, but I think it's just that thought, not necessarily. Again, I don't always feel like I write to release. Do you get what I mean? Sometimes you get to that space as a creative whereby you feel like, okay, you need to release content, you need to be consistent, you need to. For me, it's just no, just outpouring and everything and download. And now that you're in a space of like creating and now releasing, it's like, okay, I can see I'm at that space of like putting things in projects. Okay, this fits into this theme and this can go together. So yeah, and I do appreciate that, because it's not, as I've said, it's not like forcing creativity, but it's like, no, these are deep, authentic reflections. And I feel like when it's quite authentic, people can really connect with that. So it's quite crazy. I've gone through some pieces recently, and I'm just like, when did you write that? Like, oh my gosh, even me, I'm surprised. I'm
Do you
like,
let
oh
anybody
God,
see them?
look at you.
So your unreleased material, does anyone else see it?
Not really.
No?
Not really. But they shall. Now I'm like, okay, no, they're coming out. So when y'all see it, it's new content that's been written how many years ago? So even Slay was what,
COVID, you
2023,
said.
24. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's there, it's all there. So but I do love what you've said with regards to just actually just spending time, like, because I want to pause more. I really, really want to pause more. And I would love to see what comes out of that. Just sitting, not always being busy, just pause and just write from a place of pausing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just greedy. That's all it is. Like,
don't worry, it's coming your way. It's coming your way. He's like, we just want more.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably a bit unhealthy, to be honest. Like, I just, like, I've got my headphones on now. Like, I stay just like consuming like things and content, and like I'm always like just looking around to be inspired. And you know how it is. It's like nowadays, if you find something good, then it feels like more and more of a rarity. You know, I think things are so mass produced, and it's like musically. Often, I just feel like I've been hearing the same song for about 8 years, just on loop. I feel like I've been hearing like the same 4 topics in certain contexts. Like, you know,
I hear you.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. So when I find something good, I always just want a bit more. You know, always just want a bit more.
My take on that is that you like spoken word and you want more spoken word. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
All my spoken word artists there come alive. You know?
Yeah. Like has there ever been? Sometimes there's like a US version and stuff, right? And then there's you kind of look to like what's the closest UK version. But I don't want to misquote the name. Is it Poets in Autumn?
Yes.
That was J.Walker Perry, and like I think that was just such a cool thing because of the momentum. That they were able to gain from that. What is the spoken word, or let's even be more specific than that, right? The Christian spoken word community. What's that like?
In the UK?
Yeah, because I know nothing. I'm not even sure if one exists. That's why I'm asking you.
You know what? I feel like we're awakening. We are awakening.
Okay.
I want to say that. I want to say in the past few years, because the way I've seen it, I feel like the Americans have very much inspired us, and hence why it's almost like we've drawn them to the UK. Okay. Pick this up. But you do have, I feel like there's very strong voices right now in the UK with regards to spoken word, and I feel like there can be more.
Do you want to do some shout outs?
Yeah, 100%. Yes, you know, Die, like, who else? Like the Big Church Day Out folks. Oh my gosh, his name, Briggs. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name, but he's good. You know, I think he's amazing, and look at me butchering his name. But Briggs, Briggs, Briggs. He's good. He's amazing. One day collaboration, glory, hallelujah. But no, he's amazing. Yeah.
So you said, is that a thing? Yeah. Is the collaboration a thing? Is that happening?
Oh, I've not seen too much of it in the spoken word space. However, I would love there to be more. I think Die has been very good with collaboration. That's one person I've definitely seen who's been so good with like collaboration. But I think I would love to see more. I'm personally someone who's very, very big on collaboration. Because it just speaks to God's heart of unity, you know? and how much more can we do? For me, just that concept of synergy,
Mm-hmm.
whereby 2+2 is not just 4, 2+2 is like 5, or 7, So yeah, I'm big on collaboration, and I'd love to see more of that in the spoken word space.
Yeah. And what are you looking to kind of achieve in the next, say, 3 to 5? What would you like your journey to look like?
I feel like that's like the kind of questions I get at work. Your career.
Tell me
Where
your
would you like
business
to be in
plan.
the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Oh my God, do I have to think that deep? Do you know what? Sincerely, okay, let me answer that question. Let me be serious. 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it goes
I
fast,
would
you know.
You can tell me that again. Do you know what? Consistency is what I want to achieve in terms of
Okay.
releases.
Mm-hmm.
That's a personal goal for me because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that just because I really just want to see that space grow. And I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you're functioning in something, it encourages other people. And that's what I've been seeing. Sometimes I'm in events, so I remember I was at church the other day, someone just came up to me. I was like, I don't know, I didn't know the person, and they're like, oh my gosh, da, 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 da. And I was like, oh, and they're telling me about where they saw me and this, and how it inspired them as a poet and stuff like that.
Mm.
And that blesses me because I'm like, wow, if just you see me somewhere or you hearing this thing is encourage you to walk in your gifting and what God has placed inside of you, that should never be wasted. Every talent Lord has given to you, I think about the parable of the talents, God is going to ask what you did with it. So for
Yeah.
me, being consistent on my path and how that can inspire other people, but also that's one level of it, but also how we can really bring hope to other people. Let's talk about the things that you're not talking about. Do you know what I mean? Let's do it in a creative way. Let it bring healing. Let it bring hope. I feel like spoken word has the same power as music. I remember when the Lord took me on a journey of really understanding the power of music. And I don't know if you've ever been in a space where like you're feeling down and everything, you're just feeling mellow, you're feeling down. But then you just hear one song, you're not even playing a song, someone else playing a song. And it just lifts your spirit. It just lifts you up. And that's just music, that's music. And it's the words, it's it's just the power of music, very much so, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same thing with spoken words. You're really concentrating on the words, but even with words, there's melodies that accompany it. So it's like even principle of scripture very much, when God says that there is life and death is in the power of your tongue, right?
Mm-hmm.
The tongue is really very much speaking about your words. So when you're putting it in the form of spoken word, when you're putting a form of music, when you're putting a form of rap, when you're putting a form of all these different mediums, there's a reason it moves you the way it does, because life and death is in your tongue, and the power of life and death is in your tongue. So go back to your question, is very much, okay, God, how do I use this to speak life to people, to encourage people, to bring hope to people, to ultimately, my goal, salvation.
Mm-hmm.
What does intimacy with God look like? What does relationship with God look like? You're living through life, right? But there's someone who can help you through the realities of life, and that's Christ. So yeah, that's my heart. My heart is very much to see people come to Christ through everything the Lord has given me to express.
I see, that's awesome. And I love the fact how, like, biblically grounded everything you say is. Because, yeah, I feel like sometimes I need to be careful how I navigate. It's like, but I feel like sometimes the business side can take over, just like inside of a person's own mind, where
Yeah.
just kind of it's really easy for it to become the main focus,
Yeah.
And I love how grounded you are in the scripture and just having that ultimate goal of salvation. I think that just puts you in good stead, like for sure,
Amen.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think accountability is also helpful with that, because I hear that and I think it's very, very, it can be easy for people to go into that aspect of things. But if I can say something that encourages people, like, how do you stay grounded in that? Like, be accountable to certain people, like, especially in your journey, sometimes as you progress, connections can change, but if you can have people are sound, who have known you from Genesis, and you say to them, this is my goal with this, check me in, so that when you do go for a particular phase or something, or you're faced with this, they will check you in, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
said this when you were doing this. Like, I think if you're either struggling with that or you think it can go to that aspect, sincerely, have accountability buddies who can check you in and just ensure that you're always on track.
That's awesome. And I always like to end by asking, what's one thing that people can do for you to support you? If there's one thing you'd ask everybody who's having this to do, what would it be?
Go listen to Slay and share it. You know, the more people that hear it, the better. So yeah, a lot of work has gone into it, and I'm very grateful for every individual who's worked in it. And the best support right now is to go watch it and go share with somebody else. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Go on, give us a drop on the name of the channels where people can find you, all of that.
100% at JudahEl Music on pretty much all platforms, whether that's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Where am I? Oh, Facebook. What else is there? All of the social media handles. It's pretty much JudahEl Music. Yeah, JudahEl Music. You can find everywhere.
Cool. We'll do the tags below. All right. Thank you so much for sharing your heart. Thank you for your openness. Thank you for sharing your business plan.
Thank you for having
all
me.
of that. All of that. All right.
Business plan. Love it.